Hi, my name is Antonio Newton, your local realtor with the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, and welcome to Time to Talk Tuesday. Before we dive into today's episode, please remember that you can catch all of our content on our YouTube channel at the Newton Group. There you'll find our Time to Talk Tuesday episode, you'll find our After Coffee interview series, you'll find Key in the Community, which is coming soon, our neighborhood information, and just tons of video content for you. Then also you can connect with us on Facebook, as well as other social media platforms as well. And please don't forget to comment, like, share it with a friend or anybody you think may benefit from the material. And then make sure you click that bell so that way you get notified anytime that we release new video content. I'd also like to take this time to thank our sponsors, ChandlerHomeshow.com, ColumbiaNortheastHomeshow.com, as well as Better Way Properties. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. So let's dive right in. Today, I'm so excited to bring you this video, which is Top 10 Reasons, Part 1, to live in South Carolina. Now, being a native of South Carolina, I call Columbia my city, but South Carolina is such a beautiful state. So today we're going to go over 5 of the top 10 reasons that you, if you don't, should live in South Carolina. And if you do live in South Carolina, why you should tell a relative they need to live in South Carolina. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Plus, you may discover some hidden gems about your state.
Time to Talk Tuesday, where your local realtor, Antonio Newton, discusses the local market and common issues, providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners.
So let's start. Reason number 1 to live in South Carolina. Nothing other than our fantastic weather. We have such warm weather and mild temperatures that it really makes living here a breeze. We have a lot of people from up north who are tired of snow blowing and shoveling snow and sidewalk. You know, in South Carolina, matter of fact, I'm shooting this in February 2022, and you should have seen the craze when we got a little bit of snow a couple of weeks ago. Everything shuts down. The kids go out and play with it. Adults are so joyful because we don't see snow that often, especially any snow that sticks. So the weather here, we have very mild winters. It's only maybe in 365 days a year, you may get maybe 20 days that's like below freezing. That's like below 32. Other than that, our winters are like 50 degrees, which is it's chilly, but we rarely see any very drastic, severe cold weather, which is fantastic. And that kind of brings us to our point number 2, which is the scenery. Because our weather is so fantastic, we can go to the beach in March. We can also go to the beach in November and have nice, beautiful sunshine days, nice sunny days at the beach. But then our scenery is so diverse. Not only do we have beaches, but we have mountains. Speaking of beaches, first, let me tell you, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, and Hilton Head are gorgeous. I prefer Hilton Head just because it's a little bit slower pace and laid back. Of course, Myrtle Beach is a tourist attraction. It's one of the top beaches here in South Carolina, or really on the East Coast. And then Charleston, of course, the history that's there in Charleston, South Carolina, along with the beach, is truly something special. And you got restaurants and good. I'm getting into other points, but it's just a lot. It's a lot. And the beaches, along with the lakes, along with the state parks. You know, we got 47 state parks in South Carolina, 47 state parks and 1 national park here in the state. So all of this scenery, the mountains that's up in the upper state, the waterfalls, the parks, even though we have cities, they aren't like major metropolitan areas like a Charlotte, like in Atlanta, like a Chicago or Jacksonville or anything. So our cities are still relatively not as compact. And so therefore you still got beautiful parks and scenery throughout the whole state of South Carolina. Plus with that also kind of leads into point number 3, which is the slower pace of life. So with these smaller cities, things tend to be a little bit slower. Things are a little bit more relaxed. You get that southern hospitality, that southern charm. You have an easy commute to work. So most people don't live in Columbia itself uh, in terms of downtown. They may live in the outskirts of Columbia or in the outer town like a Blythewood, like a Lexington, like a West Columbia, like a Casey. So there's the suburbs of Columbia. But then Columbia, the big, you got Irmo, parts of Columbia extend all the way out to the Harbison, Irmo area, going all the way out to the northeast Blythewood area. So Columbia in itself, the footprint of it is very large and massive, even though downtown is relatively small. But then you also have clean air. You know, with it not being such a major metropolitan area like some of your biggest cities, you have a lot cleaner air. You still have a lot of trees. Even though the growth, I'm 38 years old and I've lived in Columbia my whole life. But in South Carolina in general, you don't have a major metropolitan area. Of course, Columbia is the capital. You do got Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Greenville, and these areas are certainly growing, but you don't have a metropolitan area. And so when you don't have that, you have a lot more trees, a lot more greenery, a lot more just nature, which really helps the quality. When you, even if you're in the city, you can walk out and see trees. And we try to make it a point that we maintain and preserve that nature element so that it is so refreshing, and that we don't get all that smog and everything that you may see in some of the bigger cities. And then, of course, the economy. With property taxes cheaper, with the cost of real estate cheaper, with the cost of living cheaper, a lot of people can find that they may be able to sell a home in one of the Boston area or Pennsylvania or New York or New Jersey, or even out West Coast in California, Texas. They may be able to sell a home there and buy a much bigger home here with those proceeds. Our taxes are generally lower. Like I said, the cost of living is lower, and so therefore your dollar stretches a lot further here. And so that makes it more economically advantageous for you, especially if you're older and now you're retired and you're on a fixed income. With all the other things that I mentioned, the warmer air, the ability to be able to travel within the state, and the state is relatively small. So regardless of where you live in the state, you can still get to the mountains, to the beach, to one of the lakes, Lake Wateree, Lake Marion, Lake Murray. You can still get to these relatively with not a long commute. So it makes it ideal for someone who is tired of the warmer weather, tired of the colder weather, tired of the higher taxes, tired of the hustle and bustle of that fast-paced life that often we see up in some of the northerner cities, to come down here, take a load off, relax, drink your glass of sweet tea, and just enjoy this warm weather that we have here. Enjoy the people and the charm and the conversations that you can have. Enjoy the history that's here. And once again, I was born and raised here. I'm a native, a South Carolinian, even though I'm not a Gamecock fan. And so these are just 5 of the top 10 reasons that you should consider making a move to South Carolina. And if you already live here, then make sure you tell a friend why they should live here. Or you tell us why you enjoy living in South Carolina. What's one of your reasons if you moved, why you enjoy living here? We love to be able to connect with you. So thank you so much for watching today's episode of Time to Talk Tuesday on the top 5 of the top 10 reasons why you should live in the state of South Carolina.
This episode of Time to Talk Tuesday was brought to you by the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, where nothing works until we do. Look for our episodes every Tuesday where Antonio Newton discusses the local market and common issues while providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners. If you'd like to reach out to us, we can be reached online and on land at area code 803-608-2597. So until next time, here's wishing you all fair winds, following seas, and gentle tides.